Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. I have got a sore throat tonight. I went out with my friend today. He's not asexual, and we went and had a meal at Nando's, and then we went to the cinema. We did see a house with a clock in its walls. I would not recommend it. I really wouldn't recommend it. So it's starring Jack Black, which is a house with a clock in its walls. But the film was not good at all. It was quite rubbish, to say the least. My friend fell asleep in it, and I wasn't that impressed at all. It was a very stupid film, so I wouldn't recommend it. But I usually love Jack Black as well. But before we went to the cinema, we had a Nando's and we caught up on what's been going on in our lives, because I haven't seen my friend for a while, and she's currently staying in my city for 3 weeks. And I can't tell you too much, but she was telling me about what's happened to her lately in terms of sex, because she likes sex. And obviously I don't for me. But this video, I just wanted to let you know that I am sex positive for other people, despite not being interested in it myself and being personally repulsed these days for myself. So some people don't really understand what sex positivity is. Sorry, just get you straight here. So sex positivity can work 2 ways. You can be asexual and you can be sex positive, as in you don't mind having sex yourself. You know, you're positive about it, positive about the experience. You don't mind having it. You might even like it or enjoy it. And that's being sex positive for yourself and sex positive in general. But you can also be a personally sex repulsed asexual like I am, but you can still be sex positive for other people. So when my friend was talking to me about sex and the intimate details, I'm not going to say too much because she's my best friend and it's really, personal between me and her, the conversation. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm perfectly fine with my friends talking about quite intimate details. And that might be because obviously I talk about a lot of intimate stuff. Hiya, sad wolf girl. Oh, that's so sad. Nice to see you. So my friend was telling me intimate stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it because it's not fair on her. It's personal between me and her. But I just wanted to let you know that I am sex positive for other people, and because I have had sex in the past, despite being personally repulsed by it now, I can relate to what she's saying quite a lot, because my last long-term ex, he was actually good at sex. And one of the objections that a lot of asexuals come across in terms of why we happen to be asexual, because people seem to need to give a reason to it because they can't just accept it, a lot of people, is because we've had bad sexual experiences. We've had bad sex. We haven't had someone good yet. But that simply isn't true in my case, because my last long-term ex, I was with him in total for 8.5 years, if you must know. That was a lot of my life. And he wasn't good for me in a lot of other ways, but sexually, in terms of sex, he was good at that. I can't, as much as I don't like him, that part was the best part of him, because he was like not very nice to me the rest of the time and quite abusive. But in times of sex stuff, he was actually really gentle, kind and caring, very considerate, very into my needs, and I would have rather have done the washing up, even though I hate washing up, and I used to try and avoid it sometimes, and we didn't do it as much as sort of the average heterosexual couple would. But, we did lead quite a colourful sexual life in lots of ways, because I tried lots of different things out with him. I mean, I was just letting him lead. I wasn't really bothered. Do you know what I mean? It's not really, I wasn't, I just like the normal position. I wasn't really fussed about chopping and changing, but that's what he liked to do. So my ex was good at that type of thing and foreplay and all that sort of stuff. So, so I understand why other people, that heterosexuals, for example, or sexuals in general, I understand why they enjoy it. I understand why they like it for them. But, in general, I don't get the big deal about sex because I'm an asexual person, It's like, to me, it's just kind of balmy from my own point of view. But because hi Katie, because I've lived in the heterosexual world for half my life. I've been in heterosexual relationships for half of my life. It's it's familiar to me. Like, the stuff that my friend was talking about is familiar to me, and so I can relate to it. I mean, some of the it's nice to see you. Some of the stuff she was talking about, I've done myself in the past. Some of the sexual stuff, and nowadays I'm just completely sex repulsed for me. I mean, I don't want to go, I don't want to even see a guy naked below the waist. If he keeps his trousers on, I'm quite happy. I would let a guy go down to his underwear with me if we were in an intimate embrace, but I would keep my clothes on if he's doing that, because I don't want to get too near his bit. But I mean, I do not want to see his bit. Do you know what I mean? I'm not interested in that. I'm not even interested in being naked in front of a guy anymore, because when I found out I was asexual, my whole life changed, because I realized that I didn't have to stay trapped in that sexual world and that heterosexual life anymore. I didn't have to do that. It just came with the heterosexual package. That's what was expected of me. That's what, people, the guy I was with, that's what was expected. That's what I didn't know any different. And whilst I was with him, I did do stuff with him. We were together, like I said, for a very long time, 8.5 years. But we go for 2 or 3 months without doing it. And to be honest, I didn't think I would ever get a guy like him ever again, in terms of, not doing it. And having a sort of scarcity mindset back then, didn't know any asexuals existed, didn't even know asexuality existed. I kind of felt like I had to stick with him, in the sense I wasn't going to get any physical affection from anyone in the future, and not be expected to have sex regularly. Whereas with him, it was every 2 or 3 months. Sometimes we could go every 2 or 3 months without doing it, and that really suited me. I mean, it would have suited me to not do it at all. In my head, when I was with him, I thought the most I'd want to ever actually do that with him and be okay with it was 4 times a year, but I was thinking once every 3 months, which is actually 3 times a year. But I didn't want, I don't need to do it at all. And so that's what I just wanted to let you know, that not every asexual who is personally sex repulsed doesn't mind, hates it for other people. A lot of personally sex repulsed asexuals, they also don't like talking about sex. They don't like anything to do with it. The whole thing's gross. The whole thing makes them feel sick, and they can't stand it. But there are some asexuals. This was also cropped up on Twitter recently, that there was someone on Twitter that said that, they are also sex repulsive themselves, but they're sex positive for other people. And don't make the assumption that every asexual, just because they're not having sex themselves, is sex repulsive for other people and you can't talk to them about it. But at the same time, don't make the assumption that a sex repulsed person wants to be around you and listen to you if you're talking about sex and they don't like it and it makes them uncomfortable. So really, you've got to know the person and the people around you. You've got to know your friends, you've got to know your family, acquaintances, you've got to know, have an idea roughly when you're out with your friends and when you're around your friends, what they're comfortable with and what they aren't comfortable with. Fortunately for my friend, I don't mind talking about sex. I understand it, I get it. She can talk to me about whatever she wants, pretty much, quite intimate details, and I'm okay with that, because I've, lived such a colourful heterosexual life. I'm kind of used to it, and doing this channel, to be honest, for 3 years now, nothing really phases me that much anymore, because I get a lot of private messages of people saying this, that and the other to me, and I just doesn't really, because it doesn't affect me anymore, because I'm not having sex. I haven't had sex since 2011. I don't miss it one bit. I'm very glad I don't have it at all anymore. It's just a worry. It was horrible in the sense that I would rather not have it. I don't want it again. I can't see me ever doing that again in my life. I don't need it in my life. I don't want it. And I really need an asexual guy who's, not into having sex. I actually think a guy looks far more handsome, good looking, cute, even hot with clothes on. I get attracted to a guy's face. I'm not attracted to his body, apart from his head and his shoulders, and his frame. I like a thin guy. I'm not into muscly guys. That's another thing. I'm not into alpha males either. There's a lot of people that are into alpha males. I'm not into mummy's boys either, but I'm not into alpha males. It doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather have a thin, skinny guy, even though I'm not thin myself. I just prefer that. I don't need a I'd rather have someone that's really brainy. I'm also sapio-asexual, not sapiosexual. So sapiosexual is someone who's sexually attracted to someone because of their intelligence. That's sapiosexual. I'm sapio-asexual, meaning I'm asexually attracted to someone because of their intelligence. So if I'm talking to a guy and I'm already aesthetically attracted to him, for example, and then he starts talking to me really intelligently. So, for example, if he builds websites, I find that a very intelligent thing because I'm into website building, and that asexually turns me on. It makes me want to kiss him, or and be close to him. Or if I'm already aesthetically attracted to him and romantically attracted to him, because a lot of my attractions, they work together, not separately. A lot of them, but not always. I can have but I usually aesthetic attraction mostly goes with romance, and then if I have the intelligence attraction on top, that just puts the icing on the cake, really, if you like the asexual pun. So that's really good. But yeah, so if you have got friends and you've got other asexual friends, work out if they are sex repulsed. Ask them, are you okay with people talking about that in front of you? How do you feel about it? Because every sex repulsed asexual is different. Some hate it, they can't stand it. Even some of my videos, they probably don't even want to watch. They probably think, oh my god, she mentioned the word sex, let me run for the hill. Which I understand, I get it, because we're asexual and lots of asexuals don't like sex, and therefore they're probably fed up of hearing about it, because in the world we hear about it so much. But the ironic thing is, since I found out I was asexual 3 years ago, I've talked more about sex now than I've ever talked about in my life. And partly that's because I'm on asexual dating sites. I help a lot of people. I run 3 asexual dating groups on Facebook, and a lot of people private message me, and I get asked all sorts of questions. I mean, if you've read my Asexual Perspectives book, I don't know if you've got it already, you'll notice there's 47 asexual stories in there, one being my own, 46 people I interview. And in this book, I ask people, all the hard-hitting questions that I always get private message about, like, if you are asexual, can you have sex and still be asexual? Can you, if you watch porn, can you still be asexual? If you masturbate, can you be asexual? Asexuality is the lack of sexual attraction. That doesn't mean to say that you might not have sexual behaviour. So, but it's the lack of sexual attraction, and that's the, predominant riding factor. However, if you go to the Wikipedia definition, it's for those, asexuality is for those who experience little to no, basically they experience no sexual attraction and or little to no interest in sexual activity. So it kind of falls into 2 areas, but, it's mostly in society, asexuality is known as a lack of sexual attraction. But yes, some asexuals masturbate. I know some asexuals that do watch porn. It's not my thing. I don't like it. I don't really get it in my brain why they want to do that, in the sense that I don't like that I'm asexual. But I get it in the sense they've explained why, because it helps them, to masturbate. And sometimes they've got a high sex drive, because some asexuals can have a high sex drive. It's not really aimed at anyone. So they kind of do that to get themselves physically aroused, to relieve that arousal, if you understand what I mean. So you can see I can, even though I'm personally sex repulsed for me, I can talk quite a lot about sexual stuff, and it doesn't really bother me, because it's so many years since I've had it. It's a bit like washes right over me now. But because I was quite experienced in that, I'm able to understand where my friend's coming from in many different intimate stuff she tells me about. And it's because we're best friends that she tells me this stuff, yeah? So I really feel honoured, but I don't feel I'm missing out in a conversation then, like some asexuals, because their friends talk about sex a lot and they're not interested in it at all. They kind of feel sometimes that they miss out in the conversations with their friends because they can't relate. Sorry, my voice is really bad. I'm going to have to go soon. I've got bad chest and throat at the moment. So basically, they can't relate, whereas I can, because of my past experience. And I think I'm very fortunate in that way. Although it's weird saying fortunate that I've had past sexual experience, but it is fortunate in that way that I can relate to my friends. I know what they're talking about. And if they don't, it's interesting for me, because I ask them, I say, well, what is that? Oh, I've never tried that. What happens there? What do you do? Because I'm genuinely interested, and I haven't got the flaming foggiest what they're talking about sometimes, because I've never tried this sexual stuff, and because I've never been interested in trying it. Like, for example, I've never tried phone sex. I've never tried video sex. I don't want to try them either, just in case you're watching this channel. I'm not interested in them. But I was interested to ask my friend, like, what actually are they? What happens in them? Because I haven't got a flaming clue, because I'm not interested in that, you know? I'm not interested in BDSM or kinks or fetishes. I don't do any of that. That's not even in my personal vocabulary. However, some asexuals do participate in non-sexual, non-sexual intercourse, BDSM. If you read in my book, like, Asexual Perspectives was specifically designed to ask and answer all the hard-hitting questions that asexuals are afraid to ask. They don't want to ask, other people, like, are they into BDSM, kinks, fetishes, what's sexual attraction, what's sexual desire? Because as asexuals, if we even talk about sex sometimes, we can be told by other people, oh, well, you shouldn't be talking about that because you're asexual. But actually, we need to talk about it more because, some asexuals are having sex for the first time ever and they don't have a clue what they're doing and they're going unprotected. And that's really, really, really bad. It shouldn't be happening. But some asexuals, they're so innocent and they don't know what they're doing and they have never experienced it before that, they're just landing in themselves in a bit of trouble sometimes. And it's not good. It's not good. So we need to be educated about sex, even if we don't want it ourselves, And sometimes, like I said, I'll ask my friend. I mean, there's probably a lot of details that she does leave out, obviously, because I'm not really into going into, like, certain details about sex, because it's not my thing. But if I'm intrigued to know what some, thing are, I will ask her, because I'm not going to do that ever again in my life anyway. Some asexuals want to try sex because they just want to experience what it feels like, and other people, they want to be virgins for ages, years and forever, and they never want to try it. And I think that's good. I think anyone who's asexual wants to remain a virgin, good for you. In my mind, you're not missing out at all, and you're better off just staying a virgin and keeping that for yourself. I don't see why you ever need to get rid of it. Just keep it, be happy with it, and for the asexuals that want to give sex a go, if that's what you want and you feel you need to and you're curious, then, stay safe. That's what I'm saying. Just if you do try it, stay safe and read up about it, and learn what the right thing to do and to keep yourself safe. That's the most important thing, safe from sexually transmitted diseases, use protection and stuff like that. Don't be silly about it. Safe from pregnancy and, and all that type of thing, just be, if you're going to have sex, make it a positive experience, as in the sense of learn about it, learn the ins and outs of it and what it means to your body and what it means to your mind and your emotions. Sex is a very emotional thing. And I think a lot of people forget that because we live in such a highly sexualized society. People tend to think, oh, sex is just all about the physical stuff. It's not. Sex is about physical, mental and emotional stuff, I'm actually working on a new book for asexuals, which is very specific to this topic. About, if asexuals want to try sex, because I think, that, and there needs to be something out there to help you guys. And, like I said, sex is both mental, emotional, physical. It's not just like get on and do it. There's a lot to it. If you're experienced or if you're heterosexual, I guess it kind of comes natural to you a lot of the time in terms of some of the stuff to do. But, a lot of guys, I'm just picking out on guys here because I've had guys, I'm hetero romantic, I'm not, into women, some guys, they don't know what they're doing as, how to please a woman in that way. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot to it. But yeah, it can be simple at the same time. Anyway, I hope this has been useful, helpful, insightful to you in some way. If it has, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it because it puts these videos higher up in search engine rankings. It gets asexuality better known. It gets us talking about these hard-hitting topics that sometimes other channels really want to discuss that much, and probably not in as much detail. I try and give you insight into my own asexual journey and my own asexual life in order to help you in yours. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up if you found it useful, helpful, insightful. It really helps me out and it helps raise awareness of this channel. In the meantime, please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I post a new video or go live. And if you missed parts of this video, please go and watch it again. I'm Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, founder of asexualise.com and founder of Asexualise Academy. It's been wonderful to have you along, and I'll see you on the next video or live stream. Embrace your quirky, take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Thanks for watching.